Welcome back, everyone. Today we're taking a deep dive into one of the most, most powerful sections of the Bible, Isaiah, chapter 6 through 12.
It's a really fascinating section, I mean, a lot of people know some of the famous lines,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
walking in darkness, seeing the light, that
Oh,
kind of thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
But we're going way deeper than that today. We're going to look at the historical context, all the symbolism.
Yeah, the imagery is incredibly vivid in these chapters.
Yeah. And hopefully we can pull out some insights that, actually are relevant to our lives today. So to kick things off, let's jump right into Isaiah chapter 6, where Isaiah has this vision of God in the temple. And I gotta say, I always pictured this as a pretty peaceful scene. Maybe some harp music, a little incense.
Yeah, you'd think so, right?
But it's actually, it's the opposite of peaceful.
Totally. Isaiah describes these six-winged seraphim. They're shouting, "Holy, holy, holy," and there's smoke everywhere. The foundations of the temple are shaking.
It's intense. I mean, he really paints a picture of God's power, like something totally overwhelming, almost terrifying.
It's not the kind of, feel-good God you see in some modern interpretations. This is God as the all-powerful, something totally other beyond human comprehension.
Exactly. And what really strikes me is how Isaiah reacts to this. I mean, this is a prophet, right? Someone who supposedly has a direct line to God, but he cries out, "Woe is me! I am ruined." It's like this encounter just completely breaks him down. Why do you think that is?
It's interesting, right? Because it shows that real spiritual growth, it often starts with facing our own flaws, our limitations.
Yeah.
Not with some, instant feeling of enlightenment. Isaiah, he sees God and he's forced to confront his own imperfection, how small he is.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, that's something a lot of people can relate to. Even today, we all have those moments where we feel, humbled, maybe even crushed by something much bigger than ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. So how does Isaiah, move on from this experience? How does he go from "I'm ruined" to actually doing something?
Well, one of the seraphim touches his lips with burning coal, purifying him. It's this symbolic act of being cleansed and prepared for a purpose. It's not enough to just believe. He's being made ready to act, to speak out.
I see. Like he's being given a mission, a task, but first he has to go through this intense purification process.
Exactly. So we've got this powerful encounter with God, this idea of being cleansed for a purpose. Now let's shift gears a bit to chapters 7 and 8, where we see things get a little more, human. We meet King Ahaz of Judah, and he's facing a war on two fronts. He's understandably pretty freaked out.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't be?
Right. So God comes to Ahaz and says, "Hey, I'll give you a sign, any sign you want to reassure you." Seems like a pretty good deal, right?
Yeah, it sounds like a no-brainer.
But Ahaz, he said, no, I won't test God. He tries to act all pious, but if you look closer, it seems like what he's really struggling with is a lack of faith.
Interesting. So he's so scared, so overwhelmed that he can't even see the possibility of divine intervention.
Right. He's blinded by fear, and that's when the famous Emmanuel prophecy comes in, right?
Yeah.
Prophecy of the virgin birth.
Yeah, that's the one everyone knows. But, it's easy to jump ahead and just think about Jesus, but it's important to remember the context, right? This prophecy, it was meant to reassure Ahaz in that moment, to offer him hope in a time of crisis.
Exactly. But then we move on to chapter 8, and the tone kind of shifts again.
Gets a lot darker, doesn't it?
Yeah. Isaiah is told to write these warnings on a huge scroll, so it's impossible to ignore. He even names his own son, quick to the plunder, swift to the spoil, symbolizing the coming Assyrian invasion. It's like this inescapable message of doom. Kind of reminds me of, like those inescapable ads you see everywhere online.
Yeah, the ones you can't block. It's like a constant reminder of all the bad stuff that's happening in the world, all the anxieties and threats.
And in the midst of all that chaos, chapter 8 gives us this advice: sanctify the Lord of hosts. It's about putting your faith above all those fears, grounding yourself in something bigger than all the immediate turmoil.
Like finding an anchor in a storm. So we've gone from this vision of God to a king struggling with doubt to this sense of impending doom. Where do we go from here?
Well, it's, like they say, after the storm comes the rainbow, or something like that. And that's what we find in chapters 9 and 10, like a little glimmer of hope. Yeah, it's a bit of a roller coaster ride emotionally, going from all that doom and gloom to, this sense of anticipation. But it reminds us there's a bigger picture, a plan at work.
You're so right about the roller coaster. I mean, chapter 9 just starts out with that line, "The people walking in darkness have seen a great light." It's that prophecy about a child being born, bringing peace and justice, all that good stuff. And I know a lot of people automatically connect that to Jesus, but even if you don't, the imagery, it's just so powerful.
It is. It is. It speaks to that, I guess, that universal longing for something better, someone to lead us out of the mess we're in.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But then it's like, bam, chapter 10 comes in and it's all about God's anger at Assyria. They're all puffed up, thinking they're so powerful, conquering everyone. But the text is like, hold on, you're just a tool. Kind of puts things in perspective, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah,
Makes you think about where power really comes from, right?
yeah. I always get stuck on that line, shall the axe boast itself against him who hews with it? It's just, it's such a great image, you know? Puts human pride right back in its place. Doesn't matter how big you get, there's always something bigger.
Right. And that's such an important thing to remember, especially, in our world today. It's so easy to get caught up in thinking we're self-made, that we did it all on our own.
Oh, yeah, totally. So we've seen the highs, the lows, the promises, the warnings. What about chapters 11 and 12? It seems like those are more about, like, horny and being grateful, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, you're picking up on it. That's right. Isaiah 11, it's this amazing vision of the future where like a descendant of King David is going to rule fairly and everything's going to be different. Even nature's going to change. Like predators and prey, they're going to be chill with each other. A little kid could play by a poisonous snake, no problem. It's I don't know, it almost sounds like a fairy tale.
It kind of does. I know we're not supposed to take it literally, but I mean, come on, who wouldn't want a world like that? No more conflict, no more violence, just everyone getting along. It's a beautiful dream, even if it seems impossible.
That's the question, isn't it? How do we take that idea and actually make it happen?
Yeah.
How do we bring those ancient ideals into our world today? And then chapter 12, it comes in with this song of thanks, praising
Yeah.
God for rescuing them. And it's like, hey, everyone, join in. It's not
Mhm.
just about getting blessings. It's about recognizing where they come from, knowing you're part of something bigger.
So it's like be grateful, even when things are tough, even when it seems like everything's going wrong.
Yeah, that's it. And
Yeah.
share that gratitude. Let other people feel that connection, that hope.
Man, when you look at like all these chapters together, it's really it's been quite a journey. We started with, awe and terror, then we had a king freaking out, then a little bit of hope, and now this call to be thankful. It's not exactly a straight line, but I guess that's kind of like life, right? What do you think?
You're right. It's rarely a straight path, is it? It's twists and turns, good times, bad times. And these chapters, they really capture that. And they don't shy away from the tough stuff either. Doubt, fear, injustice, even God getting angry. It's all there.
Yeah, it's real. It's like it acknowledges that, being human, it's messy. But even with all that, there's this thread of hope running through it all. This belief that even when things are dark, there's a plan. Something good is going to come out of it.
Exactly. It's easy to get caught up in the, I guess, all the historical details and miss those bigger themes. But they're really about, the stuff we all deal with, our relationship with something bigger than ourselves, how we handle good and evil, finding meaning when, everything seems crazy.
We might not be, ancient Israelites fighting off Assyrians or whatever, but we have our own stuff, right? Our own anxieties, our own struggles. So how do these ancient prophecies, how do they still speak to us today?
That's the amazing thing, isn't it? They speak to us because they're about, about being human, facing your fears, figuring out what you really believe in, and, believing that the world can actually change for the better.
One thing that really stuck with me is it's this idea that we're not just, puppets. We have a choice. We can actually do something to make things better.
It's empowering, right? We can make choices. We can act on our values, and even small things, if they're done with faith and compassion, they can make a difference. Yeah.
As we wrap up our deep dive here, I want to encourage everyone to, think about what really resonated with you from these chapters. What spoke to your own experiences, your hopes, your fears? How can you, take those insights and actually do something with them?
And remember, even if you're not, a religious person, the ideas in Isaiah, they're still powerful. Facing your fears, knowing what to put your trust in, and believing that a better world is possible.
It's a lot to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Isaiah. We hope you got something out of it. See you next time.